Rolls Royce supplied engines for the British military's fighter planes, bombers, and transport aircraft, including the Spitfire and the Lancaster bomber. The Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, which was developed in the 1930s, was widely used in British aircraft during the war and played a critical role in the air war over Europe. The Merlin was a powerful engine that provided excellent performance at high altitude, making it an essential tool for the RAF's strategic bombing campaign against Nazi Germany. In addition to aircraft engines, Rolls-Royce also produced engines for tanks and other military vehicles. The company's factories were heavily involved in war production, with workers often working long hours to keep up with demand. Overall, Rolls-Royce's contribution to the Allied war effort was crucial in helping to secure victory over the Axis powers. Along with supplying engines for military aircraft and vehicles, Rolls-Royce also played a role in developing new technologies and innovations that helped the Allied war effort during World War II. Here are a few examples. Jet engines. Rolls-Royce was heavily involved in the development of jet engines during the war. The company's chief engineer, Frank Whittle, had invented the jet engine in the 1930s, and Rolls-Royce worked closely with the British government to develop and produce jet engines for military aircraft. The result was the Rolls-Royce Nene and Derwent engines, which powered several important British aircraft, including the Gloucester Meteor, the world's first operational jet fighter. Rolls-Royce played a significant role in World War II by contributing to the Allied war during the war through its manufacturing capabilities. The company worked on a top-secret project known as Chain Home, which was a network of radar stations along the British coast that helped detect incoming enemy aircraft. Rolls-Royce supplied the generators and other components that powered the radar stations. Special Operations Executive. Rolls-Royce also contributed to the war effort through its involvement with the Special Operations Executive, SOE, a secret British organization that conducted espionage and sabotage operations behind enemy lines. Rolls-Royce helped the SOE by producing specialized equipment, such as silent engines for small boats used by commando units. Overall, Rolls-Royce's contributions to the Allied war effort during World War II were significant and varied. The company's expertise in engineering and manufacturing helped to develop new technologies and produce the engines and other components that powered the British military's aircraft, tanks, and other vehicles. There is no evidence to suggest that Adolf Hitler ever drove a Rolls-Royce. Hitler was known to be a car enthusiast and owned several luxury vehicles, including Mercedes-Benz and BMW cars, as well as various models of Volkswagen, which he helped to promote and develop. During the war, Hitler primarily used Mercedes-Benz cars, which were often heavily armored and modified for his personal use. He also used other German-made vehicles, such as Hawk and Adler cars, as well as the Volkswagen Kübelwagen and Schwimmwagen. While it's possible that Hitler may have ridden in a Rolls-Royce at some point, there is no record of him owning or driving one. Rolls-Royce was a British brand, and Hitler's regime was at war with Britain, so it's unlikely that he would have had any interest in using or promoting a Rolls-Royce car. There is no record of any US president owning or driving a Rolls-Royce. US presidents have typically used American-made cars for their official duties, such as Cadillac, Lincoln, and Chrysler vehicles. These cars are often specially designed and customized to meet the unique needs and requirements of the president's security detail. While US presidents have occasionally used foreign-made cars for ceremonial purposes, such as state visits or motorcades, it is unlikely that they would use a Rolls-Royce due to its British heritage. However, Rolls-Royce has been known to supply cars to other heads of state and high-ranking officials around the world, including monarchs, prime ministers, and diplomats. Sir Winston Churchill, the British Prime Minister during World War II, was known to ride in Rolls-Royce cars. Churchill was a great admirer of Rolls-Royce and often used the company's cars for official duties, such as state visits and other important occasions. During the war, Churchill used a specially modified Rolls-Royce Phantom III, which had been converted into a mobile command center. The car was equipped with a communication system that allowed Churchill to stay in contact with military commanders and government officials while on the move. The car was also heavily armored and featured bulletproof windows, making it a secure mode of transportation for Churchill during the war. In addition to the Phantom III, Churchill also rode in other Rolls Royce cars during his career, including the Silver Ghost, which was one of the company's most famous models. Churchill's fondness for Rolls Royce was well known, and he once famously remarked that the best car in the world is a Rolls Royce, except for the one you have to pay for.